Konnichiwa! I'm Nettie Chan and welcome back to Insanity Check. We have a great show for you today. Performing live and chatting with the crew will be fabulous drag queen Crimson Kitty. But first, the gang will have a few words about recently fired shock jock Anthony Cumia of the Opie and Anthony Show. So, here we go.
Welcome everybody, welcome back to Insanity Checked, the wonder that is Insanity Check. I am Ken, and of course I have my co-host Skillet Sauce and Natalie with me here today. Today is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good show. There's going to be some mad racist shit going on later on in this show. But what else do you expect from us, right? But first, we have a very special guest with us today. We're going to have a little talk. We're going to have a performance. It is another white woman. And since that's the case, we will have our white woman introduce her to you guys. Natalie, please.
So that's what I am now, a white woman.
You've always been a white woman.
We have today here with us the infamous Brooklyn-based drag queen, Miss Crimson Kitty.
Yes.
Hello, hello. So,
yes.
is that what you are, a drag queen?
Yes. I've called myself a female drag queen. I know the appropriate term, or the term that was coined, is called faux queen. I don't like that term, so I decided to make my own term because I perform on my own terms and conditions. So, yeah, it can be either a female drag queen, a drag queen with a pussy, or a pussy queen.
Pussy queen, I like that.
Yes.
No, wait a
Yes.
second.
Are those legitimate terms, the last two?
Yeah, about to say.
Those are ones that I made up for
That you
myself.
made up for yourself? Okay.
Yes.
Are they catching on?
Yes, they are actually. People think it's funny.
Okay.
Especially when they don't understand what I do.
Yeah, 'cause
If I
I'm-
say that, they end up laughing and they end up being a little bit more open towards what I do, because it is very confusing, for people. Like, what does a female drag queen mean? What do you
I was
do?
going to say the
Yeah.
same thing because could you define what is a drag queen?
So drag queen is generally, drag queen has gone farther back in Shakespeare world. They couldn't have women on the stage, so they would have men posed as women performing. That's kind of where it grew. And there's been gender bending performances and things of that nature for like centuries. They've been doing it back in the day. But I would say in the last couple of decades, it's been more synonymous with gay culture. And while there is cross-dressing or gender bending or any of that, sort in other kind of cultures, it's mostly known as performances within gay bars that are lip-sync based performances or singing performances, sometimes dance, but predominantly lip-sync. So that's really, a drag queen is a performer, most likely a man who dresses as a woman, who performs a lip-sync performance. They're not transgender or transvestite or anything like that because they're getting into costume. At the end of the day, they're still male. They're not transitioning permanently into it. So I'm kind of entering this place kind of like the nomad, the black sheep, the pink elephant in the room, because I'm not really supposed to be there, but I demand it. I demand it because I feel like this is how I want to express myself as an artist. This is how I only play, way I know how to express myself as an artist, where I feel 100% comfortable with what I'm doing. So it's kind of fighting for that placement in the community, because there's not a lot of queens who do support what I do, but there are, as well as queens that they do. So
I was going to say, on that note, how has the drag queen community accepted you or not accepted you? How have they treated you in your artistry?
a lot of them are very not upfront about it. So they'll be like, "Oh, girl, you're fabulous," and then I'll find out from other people that they're saying stuff behind my back.
Oh, okay.
So they can be a little sneaky. It depends on the queen. A lot of older school queens, or kind of with the older set mindset, aren't as accepting of me, and some of the newer, new school queens that are kind of fresh out, have been performing for the last few years, they're more open to it. So it's kind of a 50-50 balance. Like I said, it is it is I'm in a man's world. I'm in a man's world, and it can be a little difficult to get gigs. I know certain gigs that I've gotten, I wouldn't have gotten unless a drag queen friend of mine had referred me or gotten me into it, such as shows like when I perform at Fire Island or things like that. As a woman, I could never get myself into that by myself.
Now, do you think there's going to be a change in the sense that since you seem to be like a trailblazer, that you'll have others following you and or people that approach it from the angle whereas, well, if you can be a female drag queen, will you think that you'll have like males being like you know what I'm saying, like totally blending the lines to the point to where there's no I guess definitive line for what a drag queen is any longer. Do you think it's going to go towards that, or do you think you're going to be like a specialty item?
You know what? I've thought of both ways. I like the fact that I'm a specialty item. I like the fact that I am my own person and I have like carved out this niche for me. However, there are people who have been jumping on the bandwagon of what I'm doing. I created a show that actually is at Stonewall, which is the birthplace of the gay civil rights, where the Stonewall riots happened, June 28th, 1969. I was actually born on June 28th, not 1969. I'm a lot younger than that. Clearly, I'm a lot younger than that.
She's a lot younger than you. That's what she's saying.
It's kind of like a coincidence that I'm doing something that's kind of trailblazing, and I was born on that specific date. So that one's called Fauxvasion, and it's New York's only all-female drag review. It is specifically made for females who want to get on stage and have a safe space to do so. At the same time, I do want to be my own specialty act. And I think I am in a way, even if I do birth out little drag babies, into the world, I'll still be on the other level because of where I've come from. Now, there are other people who have been there before me, like world famous Bob. She worked in the clubs and people would think she was a drag queen because she was very tall, statuesque, just beautiful. And she was the first one to kind of be out there. And there are other performers too that do drag, but not in the full-time capacity in which I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yes.
And maybe you answered this already.
Let's ask. I'm okay. I'm not offended. No.
So, what is the difference between what makes you a drag queen dressing up and just a woman dressing up? You see what I'm saying?
Honey, I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours getting ready. I'm not going grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not tucking down there, I got to tuck this, I got to tuck the midsection, I got to tuck half this body just to make it look like the hourglass when I'm doing my makeup, and what you'll see later when I have my full face on, it's not everyday makeup. This is very theatrical. It's almost clownish.
Okay.
And really what I'm doing is I'm getting into costume. I'm doing wigs that have like 50 million layers.
That's what I wanted to know.
It's very caricature.
What is the line between you just dressing as I guess like an exotic woman or a drag woman? You said, is it the volume
Everything
of the hair?
is over the top.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
I
Everything
have
is
wigs that have 4 to 5 wigs sewn in.
Okay.
I have costumes. I make all my own costumes.
Okay.
I make my own capes. I make costumes. I do my own wig styling. I do my own make. I am one woman shopping.
Okay.
I do my own marketing, my own branding.
So you have capes
everything.
too?
I make capes. Yeah.
You got a staff too?
I need a staff actually. Maybe I should make one.
I said that might be kind of fun.
Yeah,
some creative stuff,
Yeah, and I have good rapport with places that I go to get my fabrics. I don't go to like the city unless it's specialty fabrics. I actually go to Picken Avenue, Brownsville, East New York.
Picken Avenue,
Picken
Brownsville.
Avenue is where to go.
Wait a second,
I
you go
tell
to Brownsville?
people.
They stuck in a time warp out there. Well, you know what?
Yes.
You're white.
No,
That's
they
why.
what?
You're white. Because they
Half white. I'm half Ecuadorian.
Okay, well, you
But
look
it's
all
okay.
white to the person with the gun in their hand. And
All
they
I
ain't
gotta
gonna
do
shoot
is
you. They're not gonna shoot you
Not
for
during the
shit.
day. All the guys will be like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?"
Of course, but I wouldn't go out to
Like,
Brownsville.
no.
Them dudes is stuck
But it's
back in the-
Picken Avenue in Rockaway. I take that B60 right
this
out
is
there. We're
serious.
good. They have the best. I get the
we
spandex.
know.
I get the spandex for $6 a yard that I'm getting in the city for 15.
You know what? She's gonna have some angry bumble ladies coming after you. Taking all that spandex from the West Indian women over there. It's gonna be a problem.
And they need a lot of material.
What's your favorite costume you wear?
Oh my goodness, my cat costume, which I'm still building and still, that costume is like, the movie Mr. Holland's Opus? This is my opus. This is Crimson Kitty's opus. Because this act has gone through so many different types of just evolution. Oh my God, I can't even begin to describe this act. It just keeps on changing and changing. The music keeps on changing. The costume keeps on changing. That's one of the ones where I have 4 wigs.
Okay.
And an entire cape, a full outfit. People say it's very kind of 70s because the material is very like orange and metallic, and it shines and it glitters. That's one of my favorites, but it's also one of the most uncomfortable things to wear because I can perform, but I can't really do anything because my head is like killing me. I'm getting neck pain doing it, but it's worth it.
And the name, Crimson Kitty?
Crimson Kitty. So I used to do burlesque. I started burlesque out in 2006, and so it's been a little over 8 years since I've been performing in New York. I have 2 more years till I'm known as somebody. I have these 10 years, either be a New York resident or a well-known performer. It's a 10-year mark.
Okay.
So I started out by doing burlesque under the name Agent N. And everyone thought it was H&M. I'm like, no, I'm not a clothing store. Thank you. I got so annoyed that I cut the agent part and I just called myself N. Well, one letter was way too simple for people, so they kept on calling me Ann. And I'm like, no, like it's N. So I would say N, the only letter in burlesque. It was catchy. It was cute branding.
Cool.
It was cute branding. But I would say around 3 or 4 years ago, I kind of got it. I was doing my own show called Hypergender Burlesque with another performer, Jay-Z Bitch. She still actually runs the show.
Jay-Z Bitch, you said?
Jay-Z Bitch.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's kinda
She is a Serbian international queer performer, fabulous.
Okay.
She still runs it at a venue called Wow Cafe Theater, which is the country's oldest women and trans theater collective in the country. There's no other place like it.
Oh, okay.
So it was birthed there, but I wasn't really feeling that this is what I wanted to do. I really wasn't feeling the burlesque anymore. I wasn't feeling the community. I didn't think really there was community. Everything was changing from when I started, and it just wasn't jiving with what was inside. So I gave everything up. I started from scratch. I left the show. I left so many different things, and it was a big changeover. A lot of people didn't stick with me when I changed. I was all by myself. I literally started from the ground up 4 or 5 years ago. And I had my own production company called Crimson Kitty Productions. That's what I do all my shows under.
Okay.
And I did this, well, now it was called Folk Queen. It was Folk Queen pageant that was run by Kitten with a Whip, who's actually now known as Bob the Drag Queen, which I think is the funniest name.
Love all these
Bob-
names.
yeah.
Bob
like
the
Kitten
Drag
with a Whip,
Queen.
Bob the
I'm like,
Drag Queen.
really? I love it. I think it's hysterical. She ran it with Frosty Flakes, who's another performer.
We all need drag
Said-
queens, but
Yeah,
drag
we-
names
we
by
got-
the
we
end
have
of
drag-
this.
Yes,
Yeah,
a
literally,
drag
literally.
name. You need like a drag name generator
Yes.
on Facebook. And they ran the first annual Folk Queen pageant, and I entered, and another one of my friends entered who also does drag, but she doesn't do it as frequently as I do, but she's amazing. And I did not even place. I didn't even come close to placing because it was one of those bringer friends. So if you brought all your friends, you basically won the
yeah,
competition,
yeah.
which I
Oh.
cannot stand.
Kind of a lot in
But
stand-up.
you know, it's just
all the
that's how some of these places
Battle
are
rap,
run.
too.
So I didn't win, but that's where I birthed the name Crimson Kitty. Crimson Kitty came from my cat. I have a beautiful 13-year-old, very bitchy kitty, who is an orange tabby. She's female, which are very rare, and she's also psychotic, and she's just as diva as I am. And then I had red hair at the time, and I used to use these little bottles that I got at the beauty supply stores called Adore, and the color is called crimson.
And so there it is.
So Crimson Kitty was born, and because of the production company, people just started calling me Crimson Kitty, and I kind of
a great
took the
name.
call.
It really
I
is a
took
great
the
name,
call.
yeah. It's a great name.
I plan on actually physically changing my name to Crimson Kitty in the next year.
Officially, yeah.
Official.
it.
I want to do an official name change. I mean, my Muggle name is cute, but I've never felt any connection to it.
Oh, okay, well,
So
you have to be who you
whatever,
are.
just fill out a petition, go to a court.
Yeah, very so.
So, and you're repping Brooklyn these days.
Yes. So
where'd
I'm
you
a Jersey
originally hail
girl.
from? You're a
I'm
Jersey
a
girl? Okay.
Jersey girl, born and bred. I will admit it. I love my jersey. I love my tan, and I love my big hair.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why I have 4 or 5 wigs each time I perform.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't feeling it. Like as far as where I wanted to go with my performance, I needed to move where the action's happening. So it's either stay in Jersey and save up for a car and insurance and everything like that, or just use that extra money for rent
Yeah.
and live here. I lived in Jamaica, Queens for a few months, and then I
That
was like,
don't count.
no.
Yeah.
But it's good shopping, but no. And then I moved to Bushwick, where I've been since last August. And
So,
I
I mean, is
love
there
it.
is a healthy community out there?
It's a great community. It's a great. I mean, yes, we got the hipsters. The hipsters. Some of them do not believe in deodorant. I'm kind
a lot
of.
of them apparently don't believe in deodorant.
Yeah, they don't. I'm gonna have to start like spraying them when they're like behind me, walk past me.
Rubbing like mint leaves under their armpits. and all
Yeah,
that bullshit.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where the girl she's like spraying it on the elephant.
exactly, yeah.
That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. And yeah, I love it because it's such a thriving arts community, but it's also in the middle of a serious gentrification, which I am a part of. I'll admit it, because I moved there. I wasn't living there 10
he
years
was
ago,
gonna- he was
where
gonna
nobody wanted to
backfist
go.
you.
Well, no one wanted to go there 5-6 years ago,
Yeah, I
and now
know.
it's
everyone
like
wants
its
to go
own
there.
relevancy. Girls is there. The people from Glee are there. Zozia Mamet bought that $1 million townhouse, I think.
I hear Madonna invested something out there by the warehouses down. What is that? Down Evergreen, all the way towards the end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, heard. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and also the big rental companies are seizing a lot of properties just to redo them to sell them as
I mean,
condominiums
that's a different. That's
crazy amount of prices.
Different subject altogether, but yeah.
But it's true.
No, yeah, I
it's
know.
rapidly
I know.
changing, but I love the area because the people that live there, they appreciate all types of art. And also, the Brooklyn drag scene has been super instrumental for me because it's a very kind of performance art, anything goes type of scene where I'm welcome. Whereas if I go in Manhattan, I get a little bit of the animosity. Brooklyn Queens, they love what I do. I love what they do. We support each other's shows. They're in my shows. I'm in their shows.
I love that.
It's instrumental. It's kind of like the next coming of the Haight-Ashbury, back in the day of San Francisco, where all these artists are just thriving, living in communes. I only have 2 roommates. I can't do commune living.
People
But
should use, that sample from Third Base, the Brooklyn Queens, just for that. I don't know, it's probably before your time, but there was a song called Brooklyn Queens back in, 91, was it?
Somewhere in
something
the
like
90s.
that by a group called Third Base, a rap group back in the days. And you might want to look into that. Then the whole hook is Brooklyn Queens.
I love it.
But yeah,
So
you gotta-
speaking
you
of
gotta-
shows,
you gotta plug yourself.
yeah, you got what shows you gonna
yes,
do?
yes.
Where can
So
we find you?
Plug yourself.
of course,
right there.
so you can find me Facebook, Crimson Kitty, Twitter, Crimson Kitty, Instagram, Crimson Kitty as well. I do several shows. I do Cataclysm, which is Bushwick's premier cat beret. That's at Bazaar Bushwick. It's every 3rd Wednesday of the month, and it's coming up soon, and I host that show. I also do my show Fovasion, New York's only all-female drag review. It's a little bit scattered, so I do, if you go on Facebook and kind of add me, you'll know when the next show is. I'm also part of the Brooklyn-born, New York-based drag alliance called Switch and Play, and we also do shows throughout the city as well. It's comprised of drag queens, drag kings, and everything in between.
Beautiful, beautiful.
CrimsonKitty.com, add to me to mailing list, so you'll find out stuff about me.
And speaking of performances, as I mentioned earlier, Crimson will be performing actually right now. So sit down, sit tight, and enjoy the show.
Well, that's our show. Thank you for stopping by. Next week, we'll look at the problem Colorado is having spending all that new weed money, some clumsy idiots suing the MTA over a TV poster, and a little English boy who got more than herbs and spices in his KFC 2-piece. I'm Nettie Chan. Sayonara.